Hello and welcome. You are now looking at Udemy.com. And Udemy.com is an online learning platform where individuals can take online courses, both free and paid, on any subject that's possible to be taught online. The opportunity then for someone that has expertise on any one subject is that they can teach their own online course. And because there are no limits on a particular subject that you can teach, instructors come from all over the world and teach on all kinds of subjects. Now in this course, we're going to work through the practical process of creating a course and teaching it online at Udemy. And so by creating online content in video, text, and audio, you will be able to teach your students subjects in areas that you have expertise in. And as an instructor, Udemy is a revenue opportunity. If you look at the instructor's revenue share, instructors are paid 97% of revenues that they generate from traffic they bring, 50% of the revenues from traffic that Udemy brings, and 25% of the revenue that affiliates bring. Instructors can set their price at free all the way up to $200. So to get started, you'll want to go to udemy.com and then you'll want to click Become an Instructor. When you do that, you'll then want to click Sign Up for free. Once you've written in a name and email address, you're then going to click Sign Up. You'll want to verify that you're getting all Udemy correspondence by going to your inbox, making sure that you have an email from Udemy, and then you want to go back to the site. Udemy will take you through a short orientation to try to discern whether or not you have enough experience to get started. And once you complete it, you will go straight to your dashboard. You are then ready to start getting into the course creation process, and you'll be encouraged to create your course in the first 30 days. You can start with a test subject and then you will be on your way. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we want to talk about the tools that we are going to need in order to create courses with Udemy. And because the content you're going to be creating for Udemy isn't much different from any other digital content that you're going to be creating, you are going to need all of the basics that you would normally need in order to create effective digital content. For example, you will need a way to create and edit video. One of the most prominent applications for information marketers is TechSmith, and you can find that at techsmith.com, and you'll want to look for Camtasia Studio. Now there used to be a 30-day trial for Camtasia Studio. There is no longer. You can purchase it from the TechSmith page for $199 at the recording of this video. A less expensive alternative is Screencast-O-Matic. Now Screencast-O-Matic is $18 and comes with a video editor for $18 also. And like Camtasia, it has a version for both Windows and the Mac. Now, unless you can work in a soundproof environment, you will need some kind of noise canceling headset or microphone. You can typically get those from any electronics retailer. Now, for the sake of this video, we are going to show you items like the ones that you'll be purchasing from Amazon. If course, you do not have to use Amazon to find these items. If you were demonstrating on video, you may want to use something other than a headset. If that's the case, you can also pick up a microphone that fits into a USB port. One of the other tools that will make it very easy for you to be able to record in high definition, as well as to be able to effectively navigate your content and your script, will be a second and or third monitor to go with your desktop or laptop computer. Now, if you intend to record yourself on camera, you'll need a sharp webcam that will record in HD video. Preferably, you'll want to record in 1080p. If that's the case, you can pick up an external webcam or one connected with your laptop computer or your desktop computer, as long as it records in the right resolution, which is 1080p. Another tool that will make the task of creating your course easy will be to use some kind of presentation software. In many cases, you can find an available copy of Microsoft PowerPoint through the Microsoft Office system, or you can use the Google Docs system also. And finally, a lot will depend on whether or not you want to appear live in your course or whether or not you want to narrate through a presentation software. If that's the case, you are going to want to use some kind of video recording software that is flexible enough not only to edit the video that you have, but also to allow you to create and edit your presentation videos. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now the next step that you are going to want to take is you are going to write a Udemy course outline. And you'll see as soon as you have created your login ID and you go into creating your first course, you're going to be asked to create course goals. And one of the first things you're going to be asked is what knowledge or tools are going to be required. And what you want to think about here is whether or not there's going to be some kind of level of knowledge that your students are going to need to have in order to take your course. Typically, if you're going to be creating a beginner course, they aren't going to have prior knowledge of what you're going to be teaching them. However, if they're going to need some kind of specialized technology, this is where you want to tell them that in this dialog box. Now, if you're going to require more than one set of knowledge, you're going to click Add an Answer, and you're going to keep writing in the requirements, and you want to be as specific as you can when you write in the requirements for your students. Once you've written in your knowledge and tools, you'll then want to click Save. You'll then want to write in a target student. Once again, you'll want to be specific about your answers, and every time that you need to add one, you're going to click Add an Answer. Once you've completed that section, you'll then click Save again. Now, the next step in the course outline is what goals do you plan for your students, or what will they be expected to accomplish? So you'll want to write in as many goals specifically as you know they'll be able to accomplish. What you want to do here in this section is you want students to measure whether or not they've been successful and whether or not you've been successful in teaching them. Now, once you've written all the answers that you will have for this section, you're going to click Save. Now, once you've completed the Udemy course outline, you are now ready to go to the next step. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. There is support for instructors on udemy.com, and you are now looking at support at udemy.com, and there is a knowledge base for both students and instructors. And actually, it's a good idea to look through the knowledge base for students so that you know what the students' expectations are, and so that you'll know what Udemy is actually communicating to the students. There is also a support-based knowledge base for the instructor, by which you can search for solutions. There's also general news that you can find by going to the link at the Teach Hub. And then if those things do not answer your question, you can open a support ticket in order to get more information. Now, there is additional support for instructors, and once you have actually submitted your course title, you have access to this additional level of support. You can go to instructor-based discussion on a Facebook group, and by going to this page, all you'll need to do is to put your Facebook name in here, as well as your Udemy profile, and then click Join. You'll then want to join the Studio U group, and you can do that by requesting to become a member. Once you do that, the admin will determine once you've met the qualifications, and you'll be placed inside of the group. Now, before you join the group, you're asked to read the Studio U Code of Conduct, and you basically want to understand that the group is to support instructors, build camaraderie, and to get questions answered. It is not primarily a tool for promotion of your course. The page is moderated by both staff and by instructors. Once you've joined, you can follow the threads, and you can actually post your own questions and or comment. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. One of the benefits of launching a course on Udemy is that the company actually does quite a bit of marketing on your behalf. So for example, if a student comes to the site and they are looking for a course on a certain subject and they put in a search with a title, then they can find your course. And of course, the more specifically that your course is designed and categorized, the easier it is going to be to find. Now, Udemy gives the instructor latitude in how they promote their own course. And you can use a coupon for every course that you create in order not only to give potential customers the best price, but it also gives Udemy a code to know that this is one that you'll be paid 97% of the actual revenue. Now, the coupon for your course will be available once you've enabled your premium instructor status and you've submitted your course. Udemy also advertises on your behalf with students that are already part of the site. Udemy does ad hoc email campaigns, their own action-based emails, and they also do retargeting ads on social media and other sites. Now, another way that Udemy does advertising is through search engine optimization as well as paid advertising. For example, if you see the search term here, Learn Photoshop Online, you'll see that Udemy has one of the top advertising results. It also has a first page result for one of its instructors. So search is a very important aspect of the Udemy promotional mix. The company also makes itself available on mobile devices through the iTunes Store and the Google Play Store. Finally, Udemy has an extensive affiliate network where online marketers promote Udemy courses as well as the site at large, bringing traffic to the site. The company uses the link share network and provides links to marketers to promote text, banners, and email. Their banners can send individuals to their site or to specific courses. And as was said before, instructors make 25% of every sale that comes through an affiliate. And of course, there are ways to leverage all of these methods, but some traffic will come to your course just because Udemy is working to bring so much traffic to the site. So you'll want to make sure that you complete your course and get it up and running. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that you have placed your course goals inside of Udemy, you've now come to the curriculum section, and it's now time to start placing content inside of Udemy for your students. Now the content will be arranged in both sections and lectures. And the lectures is the actual content, video or audio, that you're going to be instructing your students on what to do. You'll need to add lectures from this button, and then you'll want to add either a practical quiz or a practical exercise telling your students how to apply what they have just learned. However, the most important part here is going to be adding the content in a way that's going to make sense for your students to follow. And that is really going to require your outline. But before you begin uploading content or even structuring content in sections, you're going to want to figure out what content you're actually going to have. And this means that you'll want to take your presentation software, in this case, perhaps it's Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Docs. You want to take each subject and outline it by placing each subject on one separate slide, as you can see here. What you'll want to do then is begin to arrange the slides according to the section that you're going to have them in the actual course. If you're going to be using images in some of your videos, you want to start adding those inside of your outline also. And typically, this can be done by just using the command already inside of your presentation software to insert the image. And you'll see that we'll do the very same thing again. And then we'll do the same thing one more time. We'll add a slide here. You should now have your slides in order along with the images and where you're actually going to be presenting them. The one thing you're going to want to do for the appearance of your presentation is you'll want to change the structure of your images. And so in this particular case, we're going to take out the text images, and we're actually going to remove this image since we know which one we want there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the design area, and then we're going to format the background. And then we're going to use the picture fill. Then we're going to click File. And then we're going to grab the very same image, and we're actually going to make that image the background so that it fills the entire slide. This will make for a better presentation when we're actually going through our slides and we're actually doing our presentation. So we can do that with each and every one of the images that we have. So in this case, we'll remove the image. We will then use the picture fill. We'll click File. And then we will click the image. And then our image will then fill the entire slide. We can do the same thing in the online presentation software like Google Slides. We go to the background command. We choose the image. And our image is now uploaded. And once you have all of your content in order, you're then ready to start filling in the outline for your slides. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that you have your slides outlined, what you want to do is you want to start filling in each one of the slides according to what you're going to talk about in an individual video. Even if you have to go over 2 to 3 slides for a particular video, you can actually do that. And in most cases, Udemy desires that you have your videos between 5 and 10 minutes because that is the optimal time for a student to get the most out of your video. Now, once you have all of your written content added to your slides, you're probably going to be delivering the course by either discussing or scripting the points that you've written in. Now, that being the case, what you want to do is by outlining your content, you want to structure it so that your student will be following as you do your discussion. That means then that you're going to want to use some kind of animation. Typically, you're going to want to use a simple animation which will allow your customer to follow your points. And this is probably not a good time to do animations that are going to draw attention to the actual action. You want to draw attention to your content, and even in drawing attention to your content, you want people to pay attention to what you are actually saying as opposed to what is written on the screen solely. You can typically test the animation by clicking the button so that you'll be able to understand exactly what's going to happen and what your viewer is going to see while you are actually going to be presenting. In most cases, the float-in animation gives you the most flexibility and tends to draw the least attention to your presentation. And when you are scrolling through your content, you want to have control over when the viewer is actually going to see the next line. And so in PowerPoint, this command is the on-click command. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that each one of your points comes one after the other on your click of the mouse. And you can do that by going to this drop-down arrow and using the on-click button so that in an actual slideshow, the point doesn't come until the mouse is clicked, as you can see. And you want those points to come one at a time. This gives you an opportunity to record without making mistakes or to go back and correct your mistakes. Now, when you set up your slides, you want to stick as close as you can to what is called the 6x6 rule. That means then that you want to stay as close to 6 words per line and then 6 lines per slide. Now, you won't always be able to stick to that due to the number of ideas and how you're going to present them. But this means that you're going to limit the number of words that you're going to have in each scrolling point, and you're going to limit the number of lines in each slide. What you don't want to have is you don't want to have your slide looking like a Word document, because that will draw attention to the slide and will draw attention away from what you're actually saying. If you come to a slide and there's too much text, this is a good time to take half of your content, cut it, and all we'll do is just replace the text. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You are looking at the desktop of a Windows PC, and it's actually one screen of 3 being used for this recording. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to right-click this screen, and we're going to go to the display settings. Now, in recording the actual video, you want to choose the right screen that has the right resolution that will meet the standards of Udemy as well as your students. Now, in most cases, you're going to want to try to have a resolution of 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720, because both of these have the right aspect ratio and are considered to be high definition. So even if you choose to use the third or first monitor, whichever monitor that you choose to set your recording on, you want to make sure that recording is going to have the right ratio and it's either 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. And you want to make sure that that same aspect ratio is going to be present when you're recording your presentation software. You can do that by going to the design area and then going to the slide size. You want to make sure that your aspect ratio is going to be widescreen or 16 by 9 before you actually start your recording. Now, if you are going to use Microsoft PowerPoint, there are going to be a couple of features that are going to make your life easier while you're doing your recording for your Udemy course. Now, when you go into full screen or slide share mode, what you're going to do is to click your slideshow and then either click start from the beginning or for a current slide. And what you'll notice is that this screen is now full and ready to record. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to switch screens and switch display settings so that you can see another screen that PowerPoint gives you. Now, this is actually the screen that will give you a preview of the video as it's coming before you actually see it. This screen can be adjusted so that you see what's coming next in the animation versus what's on your screen. Now, you can have this display setting on any screen that you're going to be using. So if you want to switch displays, you can do that. So that the screen that I'm actually going to be recording on is actually going to be the one that has the full screen. And I can toggle back and forth between those two screens. Now, if there is a case where you're going to have to get something on your desktop, you're going to need to show the taskbar, you can do that from this screen. And you can click Show Taskbar, and that will actually give you access to the taskbar where you can reach an application so that you can record something else on your screen. This screen also gives you access to a neat feature of PowerPoint where we can actually see all the slides at the same time, and we can see them off screen. So consider that you would be seeing this screen but not on your recording screen, and you can skip ahead to a slide that perhaps had some resources, and then your viewer would actually see this slide. And of course, what we're going to do now is we're going to switch those display settings back. We can then go back to the same point inside of our presentation. If I want to zoom in on the presentation, I can do that from my presenter view. And I have more options by clicking these three buttons, where I can go to the last view slide or a particular screen. What we're going to do now is switch back to full screen. And as you recall, did our animations so that we can click and then scroll through our content while we give commentary. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you choose to use Google Docs, it is possible. It's a little less straightforward. What you'll need to do is you'll need to go inside of your presentation. And then when you present, you're going to present with the presenter view. What that's going to do is that's going to open up two screens. You're going to see that you're going to get a dialog box, and that dialog box is going to have all your slides. It's also going to have your notes. Any notes that you have for that particular presentation or the slide. And you're going to be able to move this window to your second screen so that you can watch it offline, and you'll be able to scroll through your slides. So for example, if I pull this screen off where you can't see it, yet I can then go to the next slide by clicking this screen. And if I can bring it back in that very same way. So Google Docs also has a presentation view that you can actually use to record your videos. And this is a great feature to have if you are not going to speak extemporaneously. You can then create speaker notes, and you can create speaker notes for each slide, and you can write your notes in so that while you're presenting, you can use the content that you place in this area. You'll probably want to avoid a script and keep an outline you can speak from, but you can actually have your outline here and it can be more detailed than the one that's going to be on your slide. And the same thing exists in the presenter area for Microsoft PowerPoint. You'll see here that for this slide, it says that there are actually no notes here. So where would you actually place the notes in your Microsoft PowerPoint? As you're creating your slides, you're going to have a view, and you can place the notes view so that you can see it and you can write your notes in this area. And you can switch back to the normal mode. You can also access the notes area if you go all the way to the bottom of your screen and you click notes. And you can write your notes in this area. When you do that, you'll notice now that our notes are here on our display view where we can work with them while we do our presentation. Finally, it's very hard to achieve perfection anytime you're recording a video. What you don't want to do is to record the video, make a mistake, and then start the whole video over in your recording. You want to do your videos in one take, and that means that when you make a mistake, you want to place a loud noise, typically 3 loud claps that you'll be able to see in your audio on the timeline, and then you will actually go back through the editing process. For example, right now you're looking at an editing screen for Camtasia Studio. What you're going to notice is that there are 3 tall lines right here, distinct from the rest of the audio. And this is typically where if you made a mistake and you decide to make 3 loud noises or 3 loud claps, those 3 claps would appear on your timeline, and then you can go back and you can edit your audio. So by using this editing technique as well as your presenter view with an outline, you'll be able to record videos in less time, with less headache, and you'll finish more courses faster. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You are now looking at the editing screen for Camtasia Studio. And regardless of which editor you choose, you are going to want to choose one that gives you a timeline where you can see both the audio and the video at the same time. Now, one of the things that you'll notice about this particular editing process, we are going to edit in the dimensions that we want the video to appear in. So for example, you'll notice that if we click this button, we can then change the dimensions from 1920 by 1080 to 1280 by 720. Typically, you'd want to go with the larger definition if indeed your video was recorded at that aspect and dimension. One of the features that Camtasia gives you to make your life easier and to help your students while you are explaining the concept on screen is they give you the ability to zoom and pan. So for example, if we reach a point in the video that we are editing and we notice and we want to focus on a specific part of the screen, we can actually do that with the zoom and pan feature. And most video editors will give you this feature. Sometimes it's called zoom, other times it is called something else, but it gives you the ability to zone in on a particular part of the screen for a particular length of time. And then once you have reached that time, you can then expand the screen so that the viewer will actually see the regular size screen again. So you want to use this to your advantage, in particular when something is on your screen and it's going to appear small. The other thing that you can do in most video editors is that you can highlight your cursor. And you can do that in Camtasia by using what is called the cursor effects button. And by adding the cursor effects animation, every time your cursor moves, you can highlight that cursor, and when it appears, it will appear on screen highlighted. And you'll notice in the rightmost corner of the video's editor, you'll see that there is a highlighted cursor. Video editors also come with a blur command. So if you record sensitive information, you can use the blur feature. In Camtasia, it's called a callout. And you can then take your callout and hide the sensitive information. So you'll want to find out what the blur command is going to be inside of your video editor. Another feature that Camtasia has that most video editors have is the ability for you to remove background noise from your audio. And so in Camtasia, if you highlight the audio and you move the cursor to a silent point of the audio and you select a portion, you can click Enable Noise Removal, and that will replicate a silent portion of your audio for the entire audio. And of course, what you're going to do primarily is you're going to find your mistakes. You may find one that has a loud clap at the end or in the beginning or someplace in the middle, and then you can then cut your piece out. However, every video editor allows you to go to the timeline to find a piece where you have made a mistake or where you can see you've made the mistake and then cut that piece out. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, it's quite possible that for some of your supporting content, you want to use audio. Perhaps you have an interview, perhaps you have a presentation or a lecture, or you just want to record audio and upload it as part of your content. You'll need to first capture that audio, and then you'll need to edit it and then put it in a form that will be acceptable to Udemy. So first, let's discuss how you'll capture the audio. Now, one way to capture an interview or audio into an MP3 format is to use the website freeconferencecall.com. You'll be able to have a phone conversation with another individual, conduct an interview, and then have that interview recorded and take the download to use in your business. In a more traditional sense, GoToWebinar will allow you to record a phone conversation. However, the format will be MP4 for you to download. And of course, there are other webinar solutions such as Zoom and Join.me. Now, if you use the desktop web application Skype, you can record a Skype conversation that you have where you're conducting an interview or you're actually talking into Skype, and you can do that with software like Ecamm and others that will help you to record your Skype conversations. An old version for Windows is Pamela for Skype. Another site that allows you to digitize audio conversations is Instant Teleseminar. Once again, it will allow you to conduct interviews as well as capture audio presentations. You can also record in the downloadable audio editor called Audacity. Finally, you can use any version of Camtasia by using the voice narration feature, which will allow you to record your voice and have the audio appear on the timeline. All you'll need to do then is to edit the audio to suit your course. Welcome back. Now, when you get ready to edit your audio, you can use the free downloadable program Audacity, and you can edit both MP4s, M4As, WAV files, and MP3 files into the final MP3 file that you will be uploading into Udemy. What you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the download section, take the version that's suitable for your system, and then you can install Audacity. And once you have Audacity open, you'll go to the File command. You will then import the audio from the location on your hard drive where you have it. You can also import the same media or audio into your video editor. In this case, we are looking at Camtasia Studio, but the same is true for most video editors. And when you import the WAV file into Camtasia, what you'll want to do is you'll want to pull it down to the timeline. In most cases, you will not have a problem with the background noise, but if you do, you'll want to do whatever noise reduction that you're going to do simply by going to the timeline, going to audio, and then clicking noise removal with a piece of silence on the actual timeline. You'll want to cut out what isn't necessary, and then what you're going to do is you're going to reproduce a new audio as an MP3 file. Now, in some cases, if you use GoToWebinar or one of the other webinar systems to actually record the audio, you'll end up getting an MP4, which is a video file. And so you'll want to import that file into Camtasia. Once you have the file, then you are going to bring it to the timeline. Now, you are then going to want to, inside of your video editor, separate the video and the audio. Typically, that is a right click, and you'll find it in the drop-down menu. Sometimes you'll find it in the overhead menu, depending on which one you're using. So once you separate the video and the audio, you'll then have two tracks. You'll have the video track and the audio track. You'll want to delete from the timeline the video track. Once you have the audio track, you'll then want to do any noise removal that you're going to do. You'll want to cut out any extraneous sound. And then you're ready to then reproduce this file as an MP3 file. Now, in later versions of Camtasia Studio, you will not be able to produce an MP3 from the actual program. You will need to produce an M4A file and then change that M4A file into an MP3 file using Audacity. Now, once you have re-rendered your audio, you are then ready to use it in your Udemy course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. As you are in the editing process, one of the things you'll want to do in order to help your students is to produce visual guides. And this is going to be especially true when you're doing demonstration style or over-the-shoulder videos. For example, inside of this video editor, what you can do is you can come to the point, and every time you reach a stage where you are actually taking an action that you're going to want to explain, you're going to stop the process, and then you're going to put some notation on the actual file. So for example, in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to notate one aspect of this chart. And we're going to drag our cursor so that it's actually going to appear there at this point in time. And we're going to do that throughout several spots in this video. Now, when we reach this spot, we are going to then create a screenshot from this point. In Camtasia Studio, we would hit Control F, and this would give us an untitled PNG file. And we're going to reach another point, and we're going to add in another notation. And we're going to drag our cursor in. And once again, we're going to take note of what we're actually explaining. We're going to hit Control F. And we're going to save this as the second in a series. And we're going to continue to do this for each individual video. And every time we hit a stopping point, we're going to do a Control F. And we're going to take this screenshot. In some cases, what we may do is we may use a different way of notating, but the process is the same. What we're doing is we're drawing attention, and basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to do something that is going to be more visual when we produce this document. And so when we reach a stopping point again, we're going to Control F. And you'll notice now that we have 4 distinct times where we have created images that we're going to come back and use in our course by giving our students a visual guide also. It is a way of adding value to your course and giving your students an easier way to follow what it is you're doing on screen, or if they don't want to keep up with the actual video and they want to do what you're doing, giving them the guide is another way of helping them to take action on your information. Now, there's going to be a part 2 of this video. I'm going to show you what to do with these screenshots from your video editor. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We now have 4 screenshots that we have created from our actual videos, and we took these at points in time when we were demonstrating something on screen in our video editor. What we did is we named and numbered and labeled each one of these shots. So now what we want to do is we want to turn them into artifacts that we can upload into our Udemy course. So what we're going to do now inside of our PowerPoint is we're going to import those images into our presentation. In order to do that, we're going to use the insert command, and then we're going to use the photo album command, and we're going to find the folder where the screenshots are, and we're going to highlight them all and then click insert. What we're going to do now is we're going to determine how they're going to fit into the slides when we do them. And so we're going to change the picture layout, one picture with title. We're going to leave the frame shape at the default, and then we're going to choose a plain theme. Typically, in order to have just the plain black and white theme, we're going to click the Office theme and then click Select. And what you'll notice is that you're going to have one picture with a title, and your image is going to look like this picture in this caption area. If we want to have captions below all pictures, we can actually add that, but there is no need because we've titled them. And we're now going to click Create. And so now what we have are, we have our demonstration slides, and it follows our video exactly. So now what we need to do is we'll use the titles that we created. So now that we have this document, we have a couple of options. We can then save this document as a PDF, or we can distribute it as a PowerPoint presentation, or we could even use it to present instead of the videos. Now in this particular case, we're just going to save this as a PDF document. We're going to go to File, and then we're going to go to Save As. When we get to the screen, we're going to change the Save As type to PDF, and then we're going to give it a name. And we now have our PDF document. Now, one alternative to the import is that when we're going to pull the images into our presentation and we click the check boxes and we decide that we're going to go with one picture per title, we can then decide we're going to have all the captions appear below the pictures. And what's going to happen is that everything that we have named the documents will actually appear below the image on the PowerPoint presentation. For example, let's go ahead and click Create. And you'll see now that all of the titles appear below the image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that you have completed all of your content, it's now time to start uploading to the Udemy platform. And what you will do is you will come into your curriculum area, and then you will create sections and lectures based on your course content. So for each title of the video, where it fits into a specific section, you will create the lecture and the section. What you will do is you will click Add Lecture. You will then give that lecture a title. And then once you have given your lecture a title, you can click the Add Content button. And then you'll need to decide on what kind of content you're going to upload. If you're just going to have a video, then you're going to click this left button. If you're going to do what's called a video and slide mashup, you're going to click this middle button. That means then that you're going to have a mixture of your video and a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation working together, or you're going to have a written article. So when you've decided what kind of content you're going to create, you're going to click the right button. Now for the purposes of this video, we're going to start with a video lecture. Now what we will do is we will select the video from our hard drive. We will then complete the process by adding in our description and adding in any additional resources. So for example, if you have links or if you have PDF or any other document that will go along with the video, you're going to select it and you're going to place it here in this section. In this case, you'll note that a PowerPoint has been uploaded. We can also add in an external link. We click External Resource. And we can also add a file from our library. Now, currently, we don't have a library, but we can create a library with any previously uploaded files or by using the bulk uploader. And you'll see the bulk uploader at the bottom of the page. What we'll need to do is we'll need to click Bulk Uploader. And then we can choose any files from our hard drive or from our cloud drive. Once we have all the files that we're going to be uploading, we'll just click Upload. Udemy will then add those files to our library and make them available as we begin to work with our lectures. So you actually have a way of uploading all of the content at once so that you can begin working on creating your descriptions inside of Udemy. Finally, you can also make a downloadable file available. You can do that by clicking the Select File button, and then you can grab the file from your hard drive. You should make sure that this is something that is virus-free and something that is in a compressed format. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. One option of creating resources inside of your sections and in your lectures is to use the bulk uploader to add files to your library. And you can do that by clicking the bulk uploader. When you open up the bulk uploader, you'll notice that you can choose files from your hard drive. And we've actually done that in this course. But you can also upload these documents from other places online. For example, you can upload from Dropbox, Google Drive, or your Amazon Cloud Drive, OneDrive, or from a URL. You can also choose files from Facebook. So for example, if we were to gather files from Dropbox, you would then need to connect your Dropbox to Udemy. Udemy will then ask to make a connection. You will click Allow. And then you'll be able to choose the content that you want to add to your library. And you can do that by just clicking on the link. You can select one or all of the files and you can click Select One File. Once you've completed your connection to Dropbox, you can then click Upload. However, you can also connect to your other cloud drives. We can connect with Google Drive. Again, the procedure would be the same. We click Connect to Google Drive. We then click Allow, and then we have access to our files inside of our Google Drive. And all we'll need to do is select those that we want to become a part of the Udemy course library. We can also add in both Box and OneDrive. You'll need to grant access to Udemy to Box, and then you'll select the appropriate file. And you'll notice that you have a growing number of files that you will be uploading. Your OneDrive is the same. If you want to give it access, you'll click Yes. You'll select the appropriate file, and then you'll click the blue button. You can connect from Facebook. You can then have access to any of the photos that you have in your personal profile inside of Facebook. So once you have all of the elements you want to add to your library, either to use in this course or in future courses, you'll then click Upload. Now the bulk uploader will be moving that content into your library. And when you're adding content and you click the Add from Library link, you'll see a lot of your content available in this area, and you can actually search for the content by its name or its file name inside of Udemy. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, another kind of video lecture that Udemy will allow you to upload to its platform is called a mashup. And we're going to go through that process in lecture 2. We're going to click Add Lecture. We're going to give that lecture a title. And then we're going to click the Add Content button. We're going to come back to this dialog box, and this time we're going to choose the video and slide mashup. Now, to use the video and slide mashup, we're going to choose a combination of slide and lecture. Now, we are going to be switching back and forth between the video and so you want to have thought through how this content is actually going to work together. To start the process, we're going to select video, and then we're going to select a presentation. And while the video is processing, we can then click Use this presentation. What we're going to do now is we're going to create timing between the two elements so that the viewer will actually see one video but yet see two pieces of content from our end. And now you should recall the process where we created a presentation based on the exact slides and activity from our video, and then we created a PowerPoint presentation and saved that PowerPoint presentation as a PDF. In some cases, this would be a great document to pull into your mashup. In other cases, you may want to use slides like the one we created earlier, where we took the entire slide and we created it into an image. So now that we have a presentation, we're actually going to click Use this video. Then what we're going to do is we're going to write in when we want the slide to appear. So we have slide 1 written in. We can now write in when we want slide 2 to appear. We can either write in the absolute number of seconds, or we can write in hours, minutes, and seconds in a specific format. And so what this does is it gives you another alternative to create a better video where you are mixing in both the slides or the content along with your video content. Once you have your slides timed based on your specific parameters, you're then going to click Continue and Preview. You can then go back and watch the video and rewrite your timing based on how you really want to see it. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Udemy offers 4 additional interactive elements when you are going to be working with your students, 3 of which are going to be common to most, a 4th if you work with information technology or programming. Now the first is that you can actually add a quiz, and you can click Add Quiz. You will give that quiz a title and a description. Once you've done that, you'll click Add Quiz. Then you can go back into your quiz and you can ask a question. You can decide on different kind of quiz types. What you will do then is you will click this button, and then you will write in your question as well as your answers. And then Udemy requires that if someone actually gets the wrong answer, you want to be able to explain to them exactly why that answer is not quite the one that they want to use. Okay, and then you're going to indicate which one is the best answer. So once you've done that, you'll then click Save. And then you'll have a new quiz question. Now you can go back and add additional questions to this quiz. Now the other interactive element that you have available is a practice test. And this is actually going to help your students to get ready for the quiz or get ready for the test, or to let them know whether or not they've taken in what you have been teaching them. Okay, so once you have your parameters in, you'll click Add Practice Test, and then you will go back and you will add in questions. You can add in single questions, or you can batch questions and upload them all at once. And one of the other elements that you can add to make sure that your students are getting everything out of the course that you are showing them is you can add an assignment for them. Okay, your content should be directly relevant to the actual lecture. You're basically giving them an opportunity to make the learning personal, as well as to assure they really understand it. So once you've written in your assignment, you can then click Save. You're then going to add in video or some written instructions. You're going to open it up for questions, and then you're going to provide the solutions to those questions. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. If you've now uploaded your content to your curriculum, you have now completed the more technical parts of creating your Udemy course. The rest you'll need to get ready in order to submit your course for review. Now you'll need to go down to the third section, which is placing your content into your course landing page. And there are several examples that Udemy gives, as well as examples of successful courses in the marketplace. The one thing that you'll want to take note of is that Udemy will actually give you an image for your course if you don't have one. Now, if you like to create your own image, you can do that. You want to make sure that it follows the guidelines of being 750 pixels wide by 422 pixels tall. You'll also want to shoot a promotional video, which will give people an indication of what your course will be about. You'll then want to fill out your instructor profile also. And once you've done that, you'll then want to set the price for your course. And you can do that in this section by clicking the link that says complete your premium instruction application here in order to set a price. And this is where you'll be providing identification information as well as payout information, so that Udemy will know that you're a real person and that they'll be able to remit to you the payment once your students start to join your courses. In section 5, there is a captions area. And one of the things that you can do to make your course more accessible is that you'll want to place closed captions in your videos. You can do that by having your videos transcribed and then uploading that content in this area. Now, if your course is produced in English, Udemy will automatically provide a machine-based transcription. However, you can still have the video transcribed and you can upload it yourself if you feel you have a better transcription. Finally, you want to write 2 messages for your students. One is a welcome message to the course, in which you are limited to 1,000 characters. Another is a congratulations message when your students are actually meeting milestones. And so you want to tell them that they are doing well and that you appreciate them being in your course. And once you've done that and you've filled in all the pertinent information in the 6 sections, you can then submit your course for review. Now, according to Udemy, the review process typically takes 2 business days. And of course, if it goes beyond that, you want to utilize Udemy support to find out if there are specific problems. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You've now been through the entire technical process of getting your courses uploaded onto udemy.com. The rest of your focus now will obviously be strategic. So at this stage, Udemy has enrolled you in 5 courses that are free to you that will give you insight on each aspect of the process from the Udemy perspective. Of course, you should also be looking at the best practices of other instructors who are teaching in the same content area as you are. So the most important thing going forward would be to make use of and to leverage Udemy's promotional resources. And this strategy can be clear when you go to the search area and you type in the word free. You start to follow the activity of those who are in your related content area. So with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.